Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Discriminating Gamer. Say, why did Captain America wait so long to carry Thor's hammer? He didn't want to steal his thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at legendary Marvel Studios' What If from Upper Deck.
We'll get back to the review in just a moment. I want to take a minute to ask you to check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about history, books on history, military history. I even post some of my lectures for my classes on there. Please check that out. Please subscribe to that channel. And now, back to the review.
In legendary Marvel Studios' What If, 1 to 5 players, of course, engage in this kooky, weird, extra-dimensional version of the Marvel superheroes. They're not everything they seem to be here that we know and love from the regular Marvel studios. In this case, of course, they're based on I believe there was the Marvel Studios TV show, the cartoon, which has all sorts of kooky scenarios with Marvel zombies, with Captain Carter being like Captain America, and all sorts of kooky things. Killmonger's a good guy. I can't keep track. Now, this is a self-contained game, not an expansion. So you can go ahead and play this right out of the box. You've got, of course, a great mat that comes with it. And, of course, you have a number of hero cards, of villain cards, of henchmen, of bystanders, wounds, masterminds, all sorts of goodies. Now, I'm not going to get into the basics of how you play a Marvel Legendary game. I've reviewed this in the past. I've hit on all the core rules. So I'm just going to tell you here a few things that make this game a little bit different. There's a new way to play solitaire. There's some new solitaire rules here. I'm not going to get too much into what's different there with that, but just know that you do have an option for kind of a more streamlined solitaire version here. You also do have a way to do kind of a mulligan if you get all your heroes come out and they're all super high priced. There's a way to kind of combat that in order to make it easier to get heroes right from the HQ right off the bat. But let's go ahead and talk about some of the new keywords that make this set what ify. Now, one of the new keywords is what if, and essentially how that works is if you play a card with what if, you can attempt to guess what is on top of your deck. You would guess either a name of a character or you would guess a class of a character. And then you draw that, and if you correctly guessed either the name or the class of that character, then whatever the what if ability on your the card you played, that triggers, and you get that. Now, there are also several cards in the game that let you reveal that top card or manipulate that top card so you can see it coming, so you have an idea of what's coming so that you can play what if with that advantage. Now, you have Soulbind. Now, throughout the game, a number of abilities will determine kind of things that have to do with the cards in your victory pile. So these can be good things, they can be bad things. But what Soulbind does is if you are able to use Soulbind, you can take one of the cards from your victory pile and flip it upside down. So for all intents and purposes, it's no longer going to affect gameplay at all. But you do get the special Soulbind ability for the card you played in order to Soulbind the victory point card. There's also Liberate. Now, if you get a card that says Liberate, essentially that gives you a number of more attack points, provided you only use that attack against either a mastermind or a character in the city that currently has a bystander hostage. You can only use Liberate attack ability against those two targets. Now, you also have Empowered. Now, Empowered cards will usually say Empowered by a certain class. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the HQ, you're going to look at the various classes, and for every card that has that class, that card gains an ability. So, for instance, if usually you have like say Ultron sentries come through the city, they say empowered by tech. You look and see all the cards that are powered by tech, and it costs that much more to defeat them. Now you also have cross-dimensional rampage. This is, I think we've seen before. I want to say it was Hulk we saw this in. I can't remember, but cross-dimensional rampage is essentially you have to look through all the cards of your victory pile, and if you can't show a card that is part of that cross-dimensional rampage, then you are going to take a wound. Now, you've also got Rise of the Living Dead. Now, this, of course, factors in with the zombies here. Now, if ever something activates Rise of the Living Dead, you look at the top card on your victory pile, and if it's got that keyword Rise of the Living Dead, it actually comes back and enters the city once again. Cards that are further down don't matter. It's just that top card when the event is triggered. Now, you also have some villain groups can ascend to become masterminds. If certain events trigger, they will actually leave the city and they will go on top of the mastermind. You need to defeat them before you can really start working on the actual mastermind for that scenario. There's a few other little rules, but let's go ahead and take a look at our henchmen now. You get the Giants of Jotunheim. You get the Ultron Sentries. And you get the Vibranium Liberator drones. Now, as far as villains here, you've got the Black Order Guards, you have the Intergalactic Party Animals, you have the Rival Overlords, you have Strange's Demons, and you have the Zombie Avengers. Now, our masterminds for this set are Hank Pym, Yellow Jacket. He's usually a good guy, not here in this set. You've got Killmonger, the Betrayer. You've got Ultron, Infinity. And you've got the zombie Scarlet Witch. Now, of course, like every set of Marvel Legendary, you have got schemes. These are the basic stories that are going to drive your scenarios. You've got Marvel Zombies setup. 4 twists include exactly 1 villain group with Rise of the Living Dead. Add 8 random cards from an extra hero to the villain deck. 1 to 2 players, add 3 extra bystanders. Special rules. Hero cards from the villain deck are zombie villains with attack equal to their cost plus 1. Worth VP equal to their cost. They have Ambush, Rise of the Living Dead. Fight. Play a copy of this card as a hero, then put it into your victory pile as a villain. It still has Rise. Twist. Each villain in the city with Rise of the Living Dead escapes. Then play another card from the villain deck. Evil wins when there are 3 villains per player in the escape pile or the villain deck runs out. There's Breach the Nexus of all realities. Setup 1 to 2 players. Use 3 villain groups. Stack each villain group separately face down as its own reality. Add 2 twists to each reality. Shuffle together all the henchmen, master strikes, and bystanders for your player count and randomly distribute them amongst all the realities. As evenly as possible, shuffle each reality separately. Special rules. Each turn, you choose which reality, villain deck, plays a card. They all play into the same city. Twist. Stack the twist next to the reality as a dimensional breach. If this was the second breach for that reality, destroy that reality, KOing all of its cards. Evil wins when all realities have been destroyed. There's Collect an Interstellar Zoo. Setup 11 twists. Twist. Each player reveals their hand, starting with the current player, then clockwise. The first player to have one of this kind of hero in their hand or discard pile stacks it next to the scheme, stolen for the zoo. On the various number twists, you're looking at various classes and other information on the card. Evil wins when the zoo has 5 heroes. Finally, there's Trash Earth with Hugest Party Ever. Setup 6 twists. Always include the Party Thor hero and Intergalactic Party Animals villain group. Twist. If Frigga, Mother of Thor, is in play, stack this twist next to the scheme as Discovered Wreckage. Otherwise, search the villain deck for Frigga, and she does her ambush ability. Then shuffle this twist back into the villain deck. Special rules. You can't fight or defeat Frigga. Evil wins when 5 wreckages have been discovered. All right, but let's go ahead and take a look at the heroes now that you get with this set. First of all, there's Apocalyptic Black Widow. Apocalyptic Black Widow's most powerful card is Time to Save the Multiverse. It's a cost 8 card with a variable 4 attack. It's got Liberate, equal to the number of bystanders in your victory pile. Next, there's Captain Carter. Captain Carter's most powerful card is Icon of Hope. It's a cost 8 card with a variable 2 recruit and a variable 4 attack. It reads, you get plus 1 recruit for each different printed recruit number among all of your heroes. You get plus 1 for each different printed attack number among all of your heroes. You've got Doctor Strange Supreme. Doctor Strange Supreme's most powerful card is Stygian Communion. It's a cost 8 card with a 3 attack. With the Instinct class, it's got Soulbind. Draw cards equal to that villain's printed VP. You've got Gamora, Destroyer of Thanos. Gamora, Destroyer of Thanos' most powerful card, is the Infinity Crusher. It's a cost 8 card with a variable 5 attack. With the proper affiliation, you get Soulbind 6 villains. You get Infinity Attack usable only for a single fight. You get Killmonger, Spec Ops. Killmonger Spec Ops' most powerful card is I'm the King, baby. This is a cost 7 card with a variable 4 attack. It reads, you get +1 attack for each different villain group in your victory pile. Also, with the Strength class, you get Liberate 2 for each Mastermind tactic in your victory pile. You've got Party Thor. Party Thor's most powerful card is Worthy of the Lightning. It's a cost 7 card with a 5 recruit and a 0 variable attack. The card reads, whenever you recruit a hero that costs 5 or more this turn, you get attack equal to that hero's cost. You've got Star-Lord, T'Challa. Star-Lord T'Challa's most powerful card is Colliding Dreams. It's a cost 7 card with a variable 4 attack. It reads, choose any number of heroes in the HQ, put them on the bottom of the hero deck. You get empowered by multicolored cards. Finally, you get Uatu, the Watcher. Uatu, the Watcher's most powerful card is Convoke the Guardians. This is a cost 7 card with a variable 5 attack. It reads, what if? Choose a team. With the proper affiliation, you are empowered by that team. So those are the cards, heroes, groups, schemes, masterminds. That's everything you get with this. But of course, you get, as I say, wounds cards, you get bystander cards, you get new starter cards as well. So you get everything you need to play the Marvel Legendary game with this set. It's completely self-contained. Now, let me say a few things here about this set. First of all, I didn't know, I thought this was just going to be an expansion. I didn't realize this was going to be a self-contained game until I got it, which I think is very cool. I think this is a great way for people to jump in to the game if they don't have the legendary set. This is a great way to get started and to learn the game. First of all, I have not watched the TV show What If, so I'm not overly familiar with this, but man, it's cool. I like seeing these heroes and villains in different lights here. I think that's fun, and there's it just thematically, I really dug it. I really thought it was cool. I have to say, I think this is one of the harder Marvel Legendary sets I've played. Now, when I say that is I played this game about 3 or 4 times now, and I played with using some different combinations of masterminds and schemes. I think I won against Pym, but when I played against the other masterminds, I just could not have screwed up worse. I could not have been had a worse defeat with the friends I played with this game, because some of these things are tough. Like Scarlet Witch is just powerful and mean. Especially we're playing that with a Rising Dead, and oh my gosh, that was I don't even know if we got a hit on her. Maybe we got one, but it was tough. And then I played the Trashing Earth scheme with Frigga coming out constantly, and our mastermind. Who was our mastermind? I can't remember. Maybe it was Ultron, but she kept coming out, and then we had the other guys that would pile on as masterminds, and so it was tough. And in that one, we did not get one hit on Ultron, the original mastermind, because we're so busy dealing with these other masterminds and Frigga. It was tough, man. That one was tough, but it was fun. Each game we played has been a lot of fun, and I love some of the combinations here. I think the what if keyword is freaking awesome, and I hope we see this in other sets going forward, even though they're not what if, right? Because it's fun, because you can manipulate that top card. You get these cards that say things like, put a card on the top of your deck. So you put a card on the top of your deck, you know what's on the top of the deck, so you can play those what ifs. Oh, it's this, and it triggers. It doesn't trigger off of like the 0 cost starter cards and stuff like that, but pretty much everything else it'll trigger off of if you guess it right. So I really like that. I really thought that was cool. Also, too, I like the Rise of the Living Dead. That one's scary. You're trying to get those guys covered up or soulbound as soon as you can, because you don't want them coming back into the city. They are tough. They're tough to deal with. Empowered is a fun keyword. I like that, how both you and the villains can look at the heroes in the HQ, and that makes them stronger, makes you stronger. I like that. Really good card combinations here when you get some of these things humming. And really, that's why I love I love Marvel Legendary, because I love the different schemes, and I love how different the game plays when you have different schemes and different masterminds and the combinations you can play with that. So I love that, but then I also love the card combinations. I mean, any good deck builder, that's what it's about, right? Is what cards can trigger off other cards to give me more advantages. And so I really like that. I really like that a lot. It's tremendous fun. As hard as this game is, I freaking loved it. I freaking loved it. This is probably one of the most fun experiences I've had playing Marvel Legendary in a while. And here's the thing. I always have a ton of fun playing Marvel Legendary. So this one is like something special. That's what I'm trying to say. This is just really good. And like I say, I think it's a good place to jump in, even though it is pretty hard. I think it's a just because it's so cool, because the theme is so cool. Now, the only problem I have with this game, the only caveat I have with this game is for a big box, right? And it's not even like the regular size of a big box expansion here, right? But for a bigger box, I really wish they'd had more heroes. I think you only get 8 heroes here, and it really needed more. And so I hope what they do is I hope they actually specifically create expansions to this set that'll be compatible with the other one, because I freaking love what they're doing here. I just wish there were more of it. But that's my only complaint. But I really got a kick out of it. You know, I played it with Ray, I played it with Kim. We all had fun with it. We all really enjoyed this game quite a bit. So the recommendation for Legendary Marvel Studios What If is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, I ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We'd ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. I'd also ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please check out my other channel, that is Cody Carlson, PhD, where we talk about military history, books on history. I even upload some of my lectures on that channel. Please go ahead, please check that out, please subscribe to that channel. It would mean a lot to me. And I'd ask you to please leave a thumb to this video on Board Game Geek. That also helps us out a lot as well. And if you are a fan of the channel, I'd ask you to please go ahead and click on our Super Thanks button here on the YouTube page and consider leaving a contribution. We would really appreciate it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll excuse me now, I had a little escargot for lunch, and I'm feeling a bit sluggish. Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Legendary Civil War from Upper Deck. What's that? It's not that Civil War. I do not care. I do not care, sir. I will do this review as though it were that Civil War. You do not come down here and tell me not to do... I'll do whatever I want. I will secede from this show.